this I have to read out so that everyone can understand the context of why we're talking about this. We just talked about our gifts, giving out gifts to married women is a no-no. I think men generally should stop that. Do not give out gifts to married women, and women should also know that it's not a thing. You can't do that. You can't receive gifts from men while you're married. I mean, you're ready. So that's why we're talking about deal breakers in marriages today. I'm just going to read this out so everyone gets the idea of why we're talking.
For the both of you.
No, let's not go into the clauses there, but let me just read this out. About 3% of marriages in Nigeria are dissolved through divorce or separation. So it is evident from the results of this that there are large variations in marital dissolutions across regions and states. In some of the research that I did, and from what I found out, 86% of women, who are currently married, either in this marriage or the relationship through informal unions. Okay. About 2.8% are widowed, 1.2% divorced. So they all fall under the statistics. About 85% of women and married people generally remain in their first union, meaning that after they get married, they stick to it through thick and true. Yep. But research from the past 2 decades says otherwise. It shows that between 20 to 25% of married men cheat, and between 10 and 15% of married women cheat. So if cheating is no longer really a deal breaker, if 3% of marriages in Nigeria are dissolved, just 3%, what is a deal breaker? And of course, we started with a woman receiving gifts while she's married. So Dek, let's start with you. What do you think is a deal breaker?
So the thing is this, right? I was having a conversation with my wife yesterday about somebody, very close person to us, and she spoke about the fact that these people are on the brink of, going apart. She didn't say divorce. She said going apart. Okay. And I said, okay. What you must understand is that it is not about cheating. I can assure you. You see, the bulk of people who actually eventually talk about the fact that the deal breaker is the fact that I caught him cheating or I caught her cheating. It's not that it was cheating. Cheating was when they now realized that, okay, I can use this as an excuse to leave. Okay. There is always a build-up of different issues. All right? Now, that build-up is what now accumulates and says that, okay, you know what, I'm tired of this. I can't take this anymore. All right? So one of the things that I do with my wife is we like to communicate, all right? When something is not going right, talk about it. You talk about it because for every time that you talk about it, you are able to move past a number of things. If you bottle up things, right?
Hold that thought. If you bottle up things, don't bottle up things, yes. Because we would actually do a review of everything.
If you bottle up things, right, you realize that at the end of the day, it's like a child that is about to cry. Is trying to hold back that tear, to hold back that tear. And then somebody just steps on his leg. And then it begins to
from my understanding, what you're saying
what I'm
is
saying?
Communication is key. So
communication is key.
Communication is a deal breaker.
No, that's not a deal breaker. Well, yeah.
Because we need
communication
to
okay, so communication is actually a deal breaker, all right? Communication is a deal breaker. Because communication, I feel, is a major deal breaker. And I'll tell you why. People don't know how to communicate.
They don't know how to navigate.
They don't know how to navigate that understanding.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's important to understand that your communication, communication is very different. All right? Yeah. There's a difference between you are a silly person and you are silly. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a difference between you are silly, you are very silly, and you are very silly.
It's the same sentence.
It's the same sentence in different contexts.
One carries some.
So communication is very
yeah.
key. In your communicating with your partner, you must understand that you can't leave gaps. You can't say that we're not going to talk about this issue. We'll move on to the next.
So
no,
we've identified one of the deal breakers.
That's it.
Gang, what do you think is a deal breaker in today's marriage? And the reason why we're saying marriages is because
in today, not my marriage. Today,
of course, in marriages.
Because at some point, I won't lie to you. Let me say, for example, in my marriage, I always told myself I was in it for the long haul. I was like, nothing could happen.
So
this is till death literally
if
till
something
until I
has-
realize I don't want to die.
Okay, if no, exactly. Let's take death out of
Do
the
you
picture
understand?
because then you don't have a choice.
So you don't
But
have a choice.
Let's put it this way. Let's say your partner steps out on you.
That's
Is that a deal breaker for you?
It's not a deal breaker for me.
Okay, so that's been established.
Sorry, stop.
This is the second time
And I've said-
Gang
I've
is
said
saying
it
this.
I just want
on
to know
this show.
that.
I've said it
Sorry,
before.
so
Yes.
if
I've
my
said it before.
partner, I just want to know that.
Gang has said it. This is the second time you're
This is
saying
not the
it.
first time I've said.
Okay,
it's
so
not
that's not a deal breaker.
It's
So
not
what's a deal breaker for
See,
you?
there's a level of when infidelity gets to a certain level that's in your face. That's when you can now say, "I'm not taking this."
Okay, so she has to do it like many times.
No, not that. But see, listen, I'm somebody that I believe in second chances.
Okay.
And I believe everybody makes mistakes.
Everybody
Okay.
does, yeah.
Okay.
You get me?
Okay.
Everybody makes mistakes. There's ways, and I say this sometimes, and people always argue with me. I say there's certain ways that a wife pushes her husband to do certain things, and a husband also pushes his wife to do certain things.
Absolutely.
So they're also part of the blame when it comes to certain atrocities that were committed. I'm not trying to justify anybody's actions. So deal breakers for me would be the way you treat me in public. Do you understand? The way you talk to me, what comes to respect and other things. The way you even raise the kids.
Okay.
The way you even treat the kids. The way we communication is there as well. Secrecy is another thing that I feel should not exist,
Okay.
Yes.
which is also
Very
communication.
important, yeah.
It should be as open as possible.
That's a book.
As open as possible. Once there's a slight chance of things are being hidden,
Okay.
kept aside, those are my deal breakers.
Okay, Okwoluwafemi, what do you think are deal breakers?
I
Because
think
everyone has mentioned a few things, but there's something I'm waiting for.
No, but I
There's
think
something I
that,
want to hear.
so I think that on social media, social media will have you believe that deal breakers are well spelled out. But it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. Different marriages have different deal breakers.
Absolutely.
Deal breakers are as individual. What's a deal breaker in your house is a walk in the park in my house.
Absolutely.
Like, there are men that will there are women that will tell you on social media that if my husband cheats on me, that's the end of the marriage. They lie. Some of them, their husband has cheated on them more than 3 times. Because for
Yeah.
them, they don't think that that's enough reason for them to break off the union.
Okay.
Like, they might look at it that, okay, if he's scoring 90% and this is the 10% where he's failing,
Yeah.
I'll overlook it.
Yeah.
There are men that will tell you that you just said it.
Yeah.
And you realize that
What did he say again?
if my partner steps out on me, it's not a deal breaker.
Okay, fantastic.
Just need to
So
be sure.
That's when notes come in.
no, but the thing is, and it makes you understand that reality is completely different from social media.
Exactly.
If you go by social media, if he doesn't call you at certain hours, oh no, he doesn't love you. Like those things
Those
are
things-
they're just there. Reality is reality, and I think that most people look at their partners and you access them, not access, like you assess them, not access, right? On their strengths. Now, if I was married to, for example, a woman that likes to, say, hang out with her friend, parties with her friends, and I feel like, oh, that's something that I don't like, but she scores 100 in every other thing,
Yeah.
you would find yourself overlooking that one.
Because she
Let's
covers
be
every other
realistic,
area.
we're all humans. And you too, there are places where you drop the ball as well. So deal breakers as individual as their marriages. There are no set rules that, oh, if you do this, your marriage will end. If you do, I know someone, happily married, they have 3 kids, and responsible guy, by the way.
Yeah.
And we thought he was responsible at that point. And then, only to find out that he had 2 kids outside. And the wife knew. And they're still married. They're still married. And the wife is not a...
This thing that you said just reminded me of something.
No, but it's the...
Because my wife actually told me some deal breakers when we were dating.
No, it's just
really?
what it
And
is.
they were what?
She said if I had a kid outside, it wasn't going to work.
Oops.
Okay. That's a deal
And
breaker.
she also told me one time that if during the court, if now that we're together, if I should make that mistake and father another kid outside,
That's the end.
it's-
Okay, so because
and
there's
because
this-
I stay faithful, and I'm the most
yes, the
faithful,
most
man,
faithful
in Lagos,
man in Lagos.
that's
yes.
not going to happen.
I
So
love it when
No,
nobody
but
say that.
so the problem with the most faithful man in Lagos is that
What
You
about
live
other
in Nigeria.
territories?
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Other
There are 36
territories,
states,
yeah?
Abi.
Yeah.
We're in Lagos. This show is a Lagos show. Let's get it. The Lagos show.
Derek went to Kano and women were saying they watched the show.
It's because he's premium everywhere. And when he navigates the 36 states,
A lot of things
and they allow him to access all the states and
yeah.
capitals. That's Deck.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
You
guys.
know.
What are you saying, man?
Okay, so Dek, you need to stop accessing all the states and
We
capitals.
are not accessing.
But yeah, I feel one of the major deal breakers that we really didn't touch on is something we've talked about several times here, and that's if a woman has a child by another person and brings it into your home. I think that's a major deal breaker.
There are men that don't have
Is
a
it?
problem with it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying because
Wait. I'm so sorry.
for you.
The way you said it, the way you said it is
Yeah.
like
that's not my
your wife will
opinion.
go out and get pregnant and bring it back to the house.
There are
Is that what
men-
you're saying?
there are
based
men
on
that- there are men that
recent
don't-
conversations
No,
we've
based
had on
on
the show.
before you,
Or
she had a
are you
kid
saying-
before you guys.
No.
Wait.
I'm saying
She had
that
a kid
she
before you.
presents a
dude.
child that is not yours. The old DNA talk that is going on everywhere around the world.
There are men,
Are you
there are
married
men that-
already, or you met her with a child? They're two different things.
No. Okay.
If you're married to a
What
woman
I'm saying-
and she goes out and
Yeah.
gets pregnant to
My
have a child
summation on
but
this
that's not
is
yours,
that
is a different thing entirely.
major-
And I
deal
can tell you
breaker.
that there are still men that don't have a problem with it.
No. I'm still going back to the DNA or no DNA.
Oh, you
thing
find out that
you
your
know,
children are not
that You
yours.
find out that your children are not yours. Okay, is that a deal breaker for you?
That's
Yes.
murder
That's-
one.
Thank you. Is that a deal breaker for
That's
you?
murder one.
That's a deal
now.
breaker. Is that a
Of
deal breaker
course.
for you?
I'm a traditional man.
All right.
Everything is
So,
But we've said it
so
on
we
the show
all
before
agree on
It is
that.
now.
That's
No,
a deal
that one
breaker.
is not. That's
But
standard now.
but for me to find a woman that has a kid, all right, and I'm
Couple
supposed to
idea.
marry.
No,
the
when you
person.
find out
Okay,
your
you know what,
child
guys?
is not yours.
We need to quickly take
That's what we're saying here.
messages that we received
forbid.
so that we can wrap up.